AM Virginia. Narration script. This is a storyboard breakdown. Written by Giovanni Vines. Story by Bradley Bartz and Giovanni Vines. Scene 1. Beach Ride. Virginia's Freedom. The wind carries the soft crash of waves against the shore as sunlight dances across the open beach. In a time where women were bound by expectation, Virginia found freedom in the open sea breeze, galloping towards a horizon that seemed as limitless as her spirit. Her sister, Elizabeth, less inclined to such displays, watches with a mix of admiration and disbelief. Virginia's rebellion was not one of defiance, but of desire. A desire to live freely, to be more than what the world expected of her. Her hair dances in the wind, eyes fixed on a distant point, one only she can see. But for now, that horizon must wait. Her sister's call pulls her back for today. Virginia's horse slows, and with a final glance towards the sea, she turns towards her sister. Even as the tide retreats, Virginia's longing for freedom remains, waiting to rise once more. It's the introduction of John Casor. It's at the Jamestown dock. The characters are Anthony Johnson, John Casor, and the ship captain. It's a bustling mood, colonial dockside life with a sense of opportunity and unease. Jamestown, a gateway to new beginnings and uncertain futures. For Anthony Johnson, this was a familiar scene, a place where deals were made and lives were shaped with the stroke of a pen. For John Casor, the weight of this moment lingered heavy in his hands. The satchel he carried, the only fragment of the life he left behind. Two men, bound by the past, but reaching for something new. Uncertainty clouded John's gaze, but within it lay hope. Little did they know, their fates were now intertwined, for better or for worse. Boat ride, bonding, and backstory. The location is the riverway to Northampton. Characters are Anthony Johnson and John Casor. It's serene, reflective, with the quiet strength of nature. The river's calm betrayed the currents beneath. Here, beneath the sky's watchful gaze, stories unfolded like ripples in the water. Anthony spoke of opportunity, of land, of freedom, earned by those with the will to take it. To John, these were not just promises. They were glimpses of a life that perhaps could one day be his. For the first time, the horizon did not feel so far. Johnson Manor arrival. It's a new home. The location is the Johnson family plantation. The characters are Anthony Johnson, John Casor, Virginia Johnson, and Elizabeth Johnson. It's a warm yet formal atmosphere. The manor reflects ambition and growth. Home, where the ambitious are sown and the futures are cultivated. For Anthony, this was a testament to perseverance. But for Virginia, the manor was a sanctuary and a stage. She watched John's arrival with quiet interest, as Elizabeth whispered observations with a sister's usual charm. A seed of curiosity, one destined to grow. Shaving and bathing, establishing power dynamics. Location, the Johnson stables. The characters are Virginia, Elizabeth, John Casor, Anthony Johnson. The mood is light and playful, with hints of tension beneath the surface. In the dim glow of the stables, laughter filled the air, though it carried the weight of something unspoken. John sat still, aware of the eyes upon him, but it was Virginia's that lingered longest. It was not just hair she shaped, but a delicate boundary, one she dared to toe. But boundaries were not hers alone to decide. Wedding Day celebration. The location is the Jamestown settlement. Characters, Virginia, Elizabeth, John Casor, community members. The mood is festive, but underscored with quiet unease. Landing Day, a celebration of survival and prosperity. But in the joy, there lingered questions. Some smiled, others did not. Scene 7. The meadow, experimenting with feminine power. Its hidden meadow, deep forest. The characters are Virginia, Elizabeth, John Casor, Julianne, Catherine, Amy. The mood is intimate, playful, underlying sensuality. Beneath the shade of ancient trees, sunlight spilled into a hidden meadow, untouched by the weight of the world. Here, surrounded by whispering trees, they were not daughters of planters or wives-to-be, but young women, curious and untethered. And today, their curiosity had found its subject. John, uncertain of his role in their quiet spectacle, could do little but endure. Virginia, however, did not watch from a distance. It was not power she tested, but the space between them. Elizabeth's laughter softened, watching her sister carefully. What began as jest had shifted. John said nothing. He did not need to. The meadow would hold their secret for now. Plantation fire, conflict, and betrayal. The location is the Johnson plantation at night. The characters are Anthony Johnson, Virginia, John Casor, arsonists. The mood is dark, tense, and chaotic. Night draped the plantation in quiet, but the stillness carried a weight, heavy and restless. But the fire was already set. By the time the first shots rang out, the fields burned. Smoke spiraled towards the sky, swallowing the stars above. Virginia watched frozen, powerless against the flames, devouring the world her family built. In the shadows, the men who lit the match slipped away, ghosts against the tree line. John fought the fire with everything he had, not just to save the land, but the life it represented. For John, this was more than survival. It was belonging. Anthony's voice carried through the chaos, calm, steady, unmoving. He had rebuilt before. He would do it again. But Virginia's gaze lingered, not on the land, but on John. And in the ashes, something new began to smolder.